began with a sentence, 7 words whispered on a global stage. Elon Musk stood beneath the blinding lights of the World Summit, leaned forward into the mic, and said, Haiti, 2010, follow the money. The room fell silent. But the world, it ignited. Those weren't just words, they were coordinates. A breadcrumb to the Clinton Global Foundation's darkest hour. Funds meant for rebuilding Haiti, rerouted into hidden hands. Corporations, fake charities, shell companies tied to names the world trusted. The truth was never supposed to see daylight. But Elon cracked the code. In Washington, a silent alarm was triggered. Within minutes, internal phones rang inside underground offices. The foundation had been exposed, not by a whistleblower, not by WikiLeaks, but by a man with satellites and nothing left to lose. Across secure channels, former intelligence heads gathered. They asked the same question. How much more does he know? The answer came swiftly. Too much. Within hours, encrypted files labeled Foundation files leaked through the dark web. Inside, emails, voice memos, transaction logs, and one video clip. Shaky. Handheld. A woman in tears, whispering. They told me to redirect the aid, or else. But that wasn't the worst of it. Inside a sealed envelope marked Severance was a second file. It wasn't about the past. It was about now, 6 weeks ago. A boardroom in Zurich. A quiet discussion on laundering aid through climate partnerships and offshore trust accounts, owned by Chelsea Clinton. And beneath it all, one word kept flashing. Keystone. Elon opened the file and paused. It wasn't just corruption. It was a contingency plan. Project Keystone was a predictive directive developed in the 90s by defense operatives. Its purpose wasn't to protect the public. It was to shield political dynasties from intellectual disruption. Disruptors like Elon Musk weren't anomalies. They were threats, identified and forecasted years before they rose to power. Keystone was designed to neutralize them before they gained influence, to shadow ban the future in real time. The blueprint showed something terrifying. It had Elon's face, marked with red text. Emergent dominance. Termination recommended. Date logged 10 years ago. They had been planning his fall before he even launched SpaceX. And now, he was staring into a future they never planned for. He flew a drone to Greenland, to an unmapped base beneath glacial rock. Inside, rotting servers still whispered Keystone's algorithm. Old tech, frozen in time, but still breathing, still calculating, still predicting. And behind it all, a silent partner. A man only known as Vector, an advisor to multiple administrations, a hidden node in every digital plan. And he had one instruction: stop Elon Musk, by any means necessary. But Elon wasn't done. He activated Oblivion Protocol, a satellite-based truth bomb. Every screen on Earth, every Tesla dashboard, every smartphone flashed the same clip. A voice played. If you're watching this, they failed. And then Elon's voice followed. This isn't about the Clintons. It's about control. About who decides what future we deserve. I'm not your threat. I'm your reckoning. The stream cut. The networks crashed. And in that silence, a legacy collapsed. But just before everything went dark, one last signal appeared. From a private Starlink frequency. A message encoded with a voice signature that couldn't be faked. It read, Project Keystone unlocked. Public release pending. Panic erupted. Political strongholds fractured. Legacy news stations went black. And an emergency session was called in Geneva. But in the chaos, another file leaked. Project Keyframe. A classified vault containing the family trees of political control. Who married who? Who funded who? Who disappeared and why? And at the heart of it, a name that surfaced again and again. Not Hillary. Not Bill. Not Chelsea. But a child. Long presumed stillborn. Project codename. Aurora. The final asset. The final heir. The legacy weapon no one saw coming. And somewhere in the shadows, she was alive. Elon disappeared from public view. But one last transmission escaped through a back channel. A digital voice. Familiar. Calm. Unshaken. Prepare. The world is ready. And then silence. But on one server, somewhere deep in Iceland's ice shelf, an old Tesla AI hummed to life. It displayed a single line of code. Echo_01 listening. And that's when the voice whispered through every device connected to the grid. A soul cannot be predicted. It can only be awakened. The world watched a legacy crumble. Not with bullets. Not with court orders. but with truth whispered loud enough to shatter the system. The moral is simple. When power protects itself, it builds walls. But the future doesn't need walls. It needs windows. Elon didn't just destroy a legacy. He exposed a blueprint of fear and reminded us all that one voice, one sentence, one spark can turn the tide. When truth walks and silence flees, and history rewrites itself. The end. For more intriguing and chilling stories, subscribe to this YouTube channel.